So once you have your Twitter card set up and your leads being generated, we want to talk now about how you can promote these cards with immediate results and some of the best practices that we've identified recently. So in order for you to be able to promote your card, and once you've finished creating your lead gen card, you'll be taken to a screen that allows you to compose a tweet with a link to your card. Edit your card, clone your card, or even view your card in action. So be sure to start by testing your lead generation card by viewing it and submitting your own information. This is a really important step. What we don't want to do is waste any advertising budget and realise much later on down the line that the Twitter card hasn't generated any leads, simply because we haven't filled out all of the boxes properly in the first place. So this is the first step that we absolutely must do. Test your lead generation card by viewing it and submitting your own information. This can save many hours and many hundreds or thousands of dollars of advertising budget. So once you've tested it, make sure it's working properly, and you'll want to promote it in one or both of the following ways. You can first of all tweet it to your following using the compose tweet with this card option, or by copying the link to your card and adding it to a tweet. So that's the first thing, and that's very often the most overlooked aspect of the Twitter lead generation card facilities. If you have an organic listing on Twitter, or an organic following on Twitter, you can take that tweet and you can take the lead generation card and you can tweet it organically. You don't have to support it with paid media. So if you intend to put a media budget behind it and use Twitter ads to promote it, brilliant, but why not get as much use out of that lead generation card as you can by tweeting it to your existing following anyway. You can then, of course, the second way, of course, is to use the promoted tweets advertising option to help your lead gen card reach a larger audience, a more tightly targeted audience, or very specific audiences, to increase the reach and exposure of your promotion or offer that you're trying to promote right now. I thought what would be a really good opportunity at this point is to share with you some real best-in-class lead generation card examples. Now, this is from a website, it's a case study from Marketing Land, and it's a case study for Mount Washington. Now, if anybody listening to this course or watching this course is involved in marketing online higher education programs, you will know how much of a competitive space this is. Now, being a very competitive space, how is a new school with no name recognition supposed to compete with the plethora of institutions vying for attention at a reasonable cost per lead? Well, this was the challenge that Adobe faced in marketing their client, Mount Washington College. So after adding the lead generation cards, we can see here an example on the left of the normal tweets that were being sent out. And we can see an example on the right of the lead generation card. Now, what was really interesting, after adding the lead generation cards, Mount Washington College's conversion rate increased 101%. 101% increase in their conversion rate, which is in itself an absolutely phenomenal result. And if you were generating 10 leads a month right now from Twitter, and by deploying the lead generation cards you were able to get 20 leads per month, you would no doubt be absolutely over the moon. However, not only did the conversion rate increase 100%, they delivered a 55% lower cost per lead. So not only are we going to double the amount of, or not only did they double the amount of leads that were being generated, they also halved the amount of money it took to generate those leads. And an interesting byproduct of this, now remember from earlier lectures where we said you must keep your eye on the prize and concentrate on the most important thing, which is of course conversions and cost per leads and those sort of things. As an interesting byproduct of deploying the lead generation cards, the brand's follower rate also tripled during the time of the promotion. So not only did the conversion rate double, the cost per lead half, but the organic following, the number of followers following the Mount Washington account, also tripled during that period. So we can really start to see exactly how they're doing it when we have a look at the type of text that was included in these lead generation cards. Some schools promise affordable degrees. MWC delivered them. Click here and learn about our online programs. Link, and you can kind of start to see the sort of impact that these Twitter cards can have. We can see here another best-in-class example of a lead generation card. Now, this is from a case study conducted by Search Engine Watch, and Web Trends is the company in question here, and they combined the lead acquisition tool in Twitter, so the lead generation cards in Twitter, with a custom lead nurture campaign. And what that means is anybody who was submitting the information and data from the lead generation card, they were going down a specific lead nurture campaign in their email and CRM program, where they would be drip-fed information and content via email over a number of days or weeks to really nurture that lead, help move the consumer along that dynamic path to purchase. Now, in terms of results, we thought the previous example was pretty good, but combining the Twitter ads, Twitter lead generation card, with a lead nurture program, over a 4-week period, they managed to accelerate the lead gen growth nearly 1,000%. In addition, though, the campaign improved Web Trends' cost per lead by 500%. So again, we've got another example here of massive gains for the number of leads being generated in the conversion rate, and again, massive reductions in the cost per lead. So again, a couple of really good examples of best-in-class lead generation cards. And before we finish, I just wanted to close off with these last two examples. We can see here the one on the left from Exact Target. Now, the value that they're creating here is really around the quantity and sensitivity of your time. So what they're offering is 140 tips of 140 characters or less. Now, the offer that they're making here is they're asking the question, have you mastered tweeting your brand's message in 140 characters or less? Twitter marketing tips, get the tips. So if you simply press that get the tips button, you will then be directed to a page where you can download the PDF or the guide or whatever it is they have in place for providing their 140 Twitter marketing tips. On the right hand side, you can see that HP also have a really quite effective lead generation card there. In fact, the copy isn't really needed for HP's card. For its newsletter, HP simply let the product and the image speak for themselves. And now, if you notice, these companies didn't clutter the message. They used very few characters in the actual tweet. And this really lets the users quickly recognize the value of the offer, because Twitter is primarily a text-heavy platform, of course. Images like these ones that you can see here on the screen in front of you stand out significantly. Really do try and rely on your image to do most of the talking for you. The results can be absolutely phenomenal, especially around these lead generation cards.